Welcome. Today we're going to talk about a financial book that 99% of people can understand right away. The One-Page Financial Plan by Carl Richards. The title should give you an idea of what it's about, and I'm sure none of us will be in the remaining 1%. The author of the book, Carl Richards, is a financial planner with over 20 years of experience and the founder of the portfolio design firm Prasada Capital Management. The One-Page Financial Plan provides readers with 12 clear steps to create realistic financial plans and achieve financial freedom through simple rules and shortcuts. Before we dive in, please click on the subscribe button below the video and stay updated. Thank you. Wealth is something everyone desires. The famous British wit Oscar Wilde once said, "When I was young, I thought money was the most important thing. Now that I'm older, I've found that to be true." Over 100 years later, this remains a valid statement. We all recognize that wealth is important, but when it comes to financial management, there's a lot of dissatisfaction because it seems so complicated. 10 years ago, the only things people could invest in were stocks and government bonds. Now, we have mutual funds, financial products, paper gold, foreign exchange, P2P lending, and much more. Even mutual funds are divided into stock funds, bond funds, QDI funds, and index funds. It's easy to get overwhelmed before understanding all these investment types. As a result, many people simply put their money in the bank and earn 0.3% interest annually, thinking financial management is too complicated. The book we're discussing today aims to show that financial management isn't complicated at all. Financial planning can fit on a single page. The book's author, Carl Richards, is a financial planner with over 20 years of experience. He founded his own portfolio design company and is also a columnist for the New York Times and other media outlets. You may have heard of his other book, The Behavior Gap, which is a classic in the field. If you're interested, you can find it in the daily book column. Based on his rich experience, he proposed a one-page financial plan, which is what this book is about. In his career, Richards met many clients who found financial management overwhelming due to the number of choices involved and gave up on it entirely. This prompted him to write a book simplifying financial planning to one page. Isn't this a revolutionary concept? Let's break down the idea of creating a financial plan and making investments. Some may think financial management is just about investments, but that's not entirely correct. According to the author, financial planning begins not with investments, but with understanding what you truly value and cherish. Once you've identified your values, planning and execution become much easier. You only need one page to create your financial plan, covering 3 aspects: why money matters, estimated financial goals, and the amount of debt to repay. Let's tackle the first question. Why is money important to you? Answering this question helps you identify what you value and sets the stage for smooth planning and execution. Why is money important? The answer may seem obvious, but exploring this question deeply can uncover your innermost desires. Like a doctor's examination, it's vital to understand your financial condition before making plans. A client once approached Richards for financial advice, and he started with the question, "Why is money important to you?" The client was a successful doctor and co-manager of an emergency team. After some thought, she replied, "Freedom." He continued to probe, asking what freedom meant to her. She answered, "Flexibility." Further probing revealed that more time was her ultimate desire, and having a child was an essential part of that. This surprised even her, realizing just how important it was. In our fast-paced work environment, we often don't have the time to listen to our inner voice or may be afraid to face it. Identifying what truly matters to you is the first step in creating a financial plan that aligns with your values. Financial planning should be tailored to your needs, not Wall Street strategies. Ask yourself what matters most to you. and stay focused. As the best-selling author Stephen Covey said, when you have a burning passion for something, it's easy to say no to other things. Take a piece of paper and write down why money matters to you. The next step is to estimate your financial goals, remembering that the future is uncertain. You can only make rough estimates. Most financial books tell you to set short dash, medium dash, and long-term goals, but this book argues it's unnecessary. Life doesn't follow a script, and we fear the uncertainty of future finances. You must accept that uncertainty is the norm, as John Lennon said. Life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. Financial planning is like planning a trip. Don't overschedule to avoid chaos. Decide where to go, list a few must-see sites, and then go with the flow. Whether it's travel or finance, embrace uncertainty and admit that you can't predict the future. However, you still need a general direction, just like you need to know where you're going on a trip. This is the second step, estimating your desired financial status. After defining your values and what's most important, set a few goals based on importance and urgency. Don't stress. These goals aren't set in stone and can be adjusted as your life changes. Your current goals might include buying a BMW in 5 years, traveling the world before 45, and retiring before 60. Estimate how much each will cost. A BMW 5 Series costs around $150,000. A world trip about $1 million. And to retire at 60, you might need $2 million in savings. Write down these goals and amounts on your one-page financial plan. You've now completed the second step, estimating your financial goals. The third step is understanding your debt. An accurate view of your finances comes from a balance sheet, which you should prepare. Many people don't understand their finances, not because it's hard, but because they don't want to face it. Whether it's your installment payments for an iPhone, credit card debt from Singles Day shopping, or a 20-year mortgage for a Beijing apartment, if you don't have a clear understanding of your finances, you'll never reach your goals. Preparing your balance sheet isn't difficult. On a blank sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle. On the left, list your assets like savings, your home's market value, and your investments. On the right, list your liabilities like mortgage, car loans, and credit card debt. Subtract the right side's total from the left to find your net worth. Simple, right? Now write your debts on your one-page plan. This paper now contains the 3 points we discussed. Why money matters, estimated financial goals, and the amount of debt to repay. This one page is your financial plan, and it's that simple. Remember, it's like a snapshot, not a manual. The plan is like the picture on the Lego box that helps you ensure you're building correctly, even if you follow the manual step by step. Now, you might wonder if you should start investing after defining your values, finding your goals, and understanding your finances. Not yet, as there's still something crucial, knowing where your money comes from. To do this, let's look at spending and saving. First, let's discuss spending. By budgeting and cutting unnecessary expenses, you can build your wealth. Living expenses add up quickly. Rent or mortgage payments can't be skipped. iPhone 7s can't be ignored. Monthly data plans are essential, and a new LV bag is tempting. With so many new products coming out, how can you stay clear-headed? The answer lies in budgeting, which sounds old-fashioned. To make it work, you need to keep track of your spending. You'll find that your actual spending is often different from what you perceive. Comparing your records with your budget lets you decide which expenses to reduce, allowing you to save more. Remember, this isn't about criticizing yourself, it's about raising awareness. Maybe you think you spent little on coffee and only bought a few bags this year, but your records might say otherwise. You may realize you've spent too much on bags and could have used that money for travel. By identifying where change is needed, you'll better evaluate your values and financial goals. Remember, it's about enhancing financial awareness, not self-criticism. Next, let's talk about saving. Develop a savings plan that suits you and act on it immediately. You may have read in various finance books that savings should be a certain percentage of your income, but since everyone values different things and has different lifestyles, there's no universal standard. Now that you've created your one-page plan, you should be able to determine the savings level that suits you based on your goals. Then start saving as soon as possible, regardless of your age or past financial history. Life is tough for young people nowadays, juggling rent in their 20s and mortgage payments in their 30s. Research shows that nearly half of Americans couldn't come up with $2,000 within 30 days in an emergency, so we're relatively better off. Even if you feel behind in your goals and have wasted time, don't aim for quick riches, as it's unlikely. Instead, start saving now. Once you've figured out your source of funds, it's finally time to discuss investments. There are three parts to investment. First, whether to buy life insurance. Second, the repayment of debt. And third, the most crucial point, distinguishing between real investment wisdom and speculative investing. Let's start with the first point, buying life insurance. The core rule is that if someone is financially dependent on you, you need life insurance. Dependence means a couple with stable jobs and no kids don't count if one dies, and the other can still maintain a certain lifestyle. However, if there are kids or the remaining partner has no job, it does count as dependence. Many people avoid talking about insurance because it feels unlucky or uncomfortable. Still, we need to set emotions aside and rationally assess the potential economic loss when discussing a financial plan. If you need insurance, how much should you buy? It depends on the economic loss, considering both the deceased's income and the impact on the surviving party. For example, if the deceased made $100,000 a year and the survivor loses $20,000 due to reduced work hours to take care of kids, the total loss is $120,000. How does this translate to an insurance amount? Using the 4% rule, divide the $120,000 loss by 4%, giving you a coverage amount of $3 million. After covering life insurance, let's move on to the second point, debt repayment. If you have debt, the only thing to do is repay it. Debt repayment is a form of investment. As the saying goes, those who understand interest earn it, and those who don't pay it. What does this mean? Let's take an example. You have a 20-year mortgage on a Beijing apartment with an interest rate of 5%. Draw a circle on a sheet of paper and write 5% inside it. Next to it, draw a box and write what you think you can earn from investments. 8%? Write 8% in the box and add a question mark. You have a guaranteed 5% return from debt repayment, while investment returns are uncertain. Now you understand. Since investment returns are unpredictable, paying off debt is a great investment. Now, let's cover the most important point, distinguishing between genuine investment wisdom and speculative investing. Everyone has different understandings and plans for financial management, but there's one thing most people agree on. They're all disappointed with the stock market. Some investors end up losing, even if they think about which stocks to buy or which industries are booming. You've probably heard stories of people hearing rumors from friends or distant relatives about a stock that's set to soar, only to invest all their money and borrow more. What happens next? Few get rich this way. The author himself invested $10,000 in a tech stock during the 1990s tech boom, but was left with only $81. The overall market rose, so what went wrong? It's because they confused investment and speculation. Knowing a little about individual stocks doesn't ensure returns. Remember 3 principles in investing. 1. Diversify your portfolio. 2. Keep costs low. 3. Risk and return are always correlated. Everyone understands diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Low costs are crucial because many uncertainties, like fund manager changes, company ownership changes, policy shifts, and declining company performance, can affect returns. The only constant is cost. For example, general stock funds charge a 1.5% management fee, while index funds only charge 1%. Without further ado, buy index funds. The relationship between risk and return is well known. Want high returns? Be prepared for high risk. To earn big, you have to be ready to lose big. These three principles are the basics of investing. How do you invest specifically? There's no one-size-fits-all plan because everyone's needs vary. However, there's a principle you can use, the 60-40 rule. This is the default allocation for institutional investors, validated by history. Allocate 60% to stocks and 40% to bonds to outperform most people. Stick to this and rebalance annually. If you invest $1,000 with $600 in stocks and $400 in bonds, and after a year the stocks rise to $700, sell stocks and buy bonds to restore the balance. If stocks fall, do the opposite. Once you have a well-allocated portfolio, your job is done. Sit back and relax, and don't be too proactive. Investments work best when you do less. As Warren Buffett says, our hallmark is benign neglect, bordering on sloth. Investing is like planting a tree, and all you need to do is sit in its shade. If you're still unsure about financial management after hearing this, don't worry. Everyone has similar concerns. For peace of mind, the author offers 2 pieces of advice from his 20 years of financial experience that should give you the courage to act. 1. The problem isn't as bad as it seems. Even if you don't own a home or have savings, take a deep breath. You still have a chance. 2. Our difficulties are shared. Every individual and family has unique circumstances, but we're all striving for similar things: happiness, security, and stability. That's the main takeaway from the book, The One-Page Financial Plan. Let me recap. Your entire financial process involves 2 steps. Create a one-page financial plan, then invest in that plan. Adjust the content of your one-page plan as your life changes, but its components remain the same. Write down why money matters to you, estimate your goals, and record your debts. These points will guide your investment journey. Spend less and save more to have money to invest. The first step in investing is considering life insurance, then repaying debt, and finally being a rational investor, firmly sticking to your value investing philosophy. If you can do all of this, you'll surely achieve your financial dreams. If you're interested to read more, you can click the description below the video to find the link to the book. We recommend you to read it. You can also share this interpretation with your friends. If you like the content of Daily Book Dive, click the subscribe button to stay updated. Your encouragement helps us continue bringing book essence to our community. Congratulations, you've finished another book.